Perhaps the most misunderstood part of building successful AI solutions, the difference between fitting a market and actually solving a problem. In part 4, product market fit versus solution fit. Get beyond the words. David is dropping some truth bombs. The one thing that everybody misses is how to confirm product market fit before you invest your money in developing the product. This is where he says the lean startup usually fails. You don't really want to build something and find out that nobody actually wants it. But this is what 95 out of 100 startups do. The difference, product market fit means people might buy it. Product solution fit means they'll actually use it. And you focus a lot on product market fit, obviously, and you have a number of outlines on your site of like what traditional product market fit, I don't even know what that means, but in general, what happened before compared to how we do product market fit now? What are the common things that people should watch out for having Googled product market fit and studying something from McKinsey in 2004 that's like not even in the same universe anymore?
So the one thing, I love lean startup, but the one thing that it misses is how to confirm product market fit before you invest in the development of your product. So, because you don't really want to build something and find out nobody wants it. But this is what 9 out of 10 startups do, maybe 95 out of 100. I mean, the percentage is so high. And then it's just a matter of whether you have the cash reserves to pivot enough times to find product market fit, if there is one, before you run out of money and you go down. And I've worked with lots of startups where this has happened, and I've worked with some that have been wildly successful. So, right, but the ones that aren't successful, they always fail for the same reason. They didn't validate product market fit early enough. And there's only one way to do it, and that's to ask somebody to pay you money for your idea. And if they will pay you money for this product that they will eventually get, then you know you've got product market fit. You may not have product solution fit. That's the other half of the equation. And that's that once you give it to them, they actually start using it because it was designed in a way that actually facilitates solving the problem for them in a way they want to do it. But that's what an MVP should be built for. Everybody builds it for product market fit, which is wrong. It should be built for product solution fit only. So you should already know what your product market fit is. So what does that mean? That means go out and build your sales and marketing engine first, and go out and do pre-launch sales before you build the product. Because if you come up with a simulation of your product that's realistic enough so that people don't ask you, how do I know you can build this? Right? That's a critical success factor. So if you've got a good enough simulation, I call it a high fidelity prototype. These are mock-ups that actually animate just like the real product, so it looks like you're demoing a real product. So if you build that, so that's the part you invest in, the design and the high fidelity prototype. And then you go through a niche analysis process where you figure out, okay, I've got all these niches I can market my product to, right? You've heard the people that said, who's your market? And they go, everybody, right? Okay, that's a formula for failure. So because you have to figure out, okay, maybe there's 20 or 30 niches that you could market your product to when you really break it down. And I have my own definition of what makes a niche. But you want these niches to be very small and tight. And then when you look at it from a niche's perspective, what are all the various problems at a root level that they struggle with? Because it's slightly different for each niche, how you would word it, right? And you want to know from their perspective, like, what is their survival? When do you get to the survival point in this? In other words, when you ask, why does somebody need the product? And they answer it, you go, well, why does that matter? Why does that? And you just keep asking why until they get to where, because if I don't, I'm going to lose my job if we don't fix that. Or because my career is at an end if I can't solve this problem with losing employees. Or it's got to be something that affects somebody at the level where their gut twists a little bit when they talk about that problem. And that's how you know you're at the root level of the problem. So you list all these problems out, and then you have a matrix where you say, okay, how impacted is this niche because of this problem from a perception perspective, right? And then you build out this matrix. Well, this is kind of a tedious process, but It's how you really figure out which is the niche that has that highest impact for the problems they're one or two problems that they're struggling with, and then you do that same matrix from a cost perspective, because they may have a really high perceived impact, but the actual cost is very low, or vice versa, right? So you're looking for the where those two things, that perceived impact and that cost, are the highest possible, right? And you do that for the top two or three of all of those problems you identified, because those are the only problems you want to focus on, and that's the niche you can go after, right? And you can validate this in what not the discovery interview process, which a lot of startup methodologies use, right? Where the problem with that is that you're asking the same questions from people in different niches very often, and you get a lot of cross mixed information. So instead, you just think, which of these niches do you already know pretty well? And you can kind of fill in the matrix well. But for the ones you don't, then you ask two or three people in each of those niches that you don't know very well, and you ask them about, are you struggling with this problem? How much does this impact you? How important is it to you find a way to resolve this? If there was something to resolve it, how much would that improve your business? Things like that, right? Don't tell them, I've got a product with this feature. What do you think? Because that's a meaningless question. Anyway, so you do that from cost, you do that from the perception, then you create basically a little bubble graph, and then all of a sudden there's two or three niches that float to the top. And then there's a whole bunch of other steps we go through to validate which of those two or three niches is the ideal niche. A final interview process where we're now validating that all the assumptions we made about the problems and about that niche are true, at least to 30 to 40% of the people there, so that we know when we finish our prototype and we go out and we start to market as a pre-launch sale to those people in that niche, they're going to probably buy. And if they do buy in enough numbers, now you know you have product market fit, and you have revenue that you're generating that helps you fund the development. It's it's harder up front. It's easier on the backside.